Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Say, you know who's really waned in popularity as an internet meme? I mean, besides all internet memes? Chuck Norris. Yeah, whatever. As I've said before, you want to invent facts about how awesome someone is, you do that for Mr. T, because he genuinely is that awesome. But then again, both are interesting parallels to one another. Both 80s action icons with strong Christian ethos, but more importantly, both of them got really silly and stupid cartoons made about them. However, Mr. T still one-ups Chuck Norris in this department, since not only did the Mr. T animated series last 30 episodes over 2 seasons, compared to the Karate Kommandos' paltry 5 episodes, but Mr. T's inaugural episode featured him grabbing a crocodile and swinging it over his head. And of course, Mr. T has had his fair share of comic book appearances. The poor Mr. Norris, however, was relegated to 4 issues of the tie-in to his animated series, one issue of which I covered a long while ago. And boy did it suck! It sucked right on Chuck Norris's windshield-kicking feet. In it, Chuck Norris's young protege, Too Much, yes, that's really his name, was taken hostage in his class by a group of terrorist ninjas out to steal Chuck Norris's battle wagon called the Super Cruiser. The Super Cruiser was basically a U-Haul. The terrorists were under the direction of the Super Ninja, this dapper-looking fellow.
There, sure glad I don't look stupid in this.
In the end, through sheer intimidation and kicking, the ninjas were defeated and Chuck Norris's super camper was prevented from being taken. So let's dig into Chuck Norris Karate Kommandos #2 and see what new heights of stupidity this series would aspire to.
Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a birdie hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazon and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
This cover is meh for the most part. It's saved only by Chuck Norris kicking a ninja in the face, but otherwise it's a pink gradient background without any details, and the logo, just like the first issue, takes up a full third of the page. Oh, and speaking of the first issue, apparently they decided to make a few little cosmetic changes here and there. For starters, in between issues, Chuck Norris decided to dye his hair and mustache. In that one, he was a redhead, but here he's pure blonde. And assuming the ninjas he's fighting here are the same from last time, they've actually gotten themselves more of a logo. They've moved on from being the Red Square Ninjas to being the B Squad Ninjas. Also, dude, I don't think you're supposed to be holding onto the blade of that bent sword. Then again, the guy who Chuck Norris is kicking seems to have his eyes covered up by his outfit, so clearly these were the best that the Super Ninja could scrounge up. But that's assuming you even believe in the Super Ninja. To me, the Super Ninja is just a super fairy tale. It doesn't exist. And seriously, Chuck, with the CN logo on your chest, you really get up in the morning, put that on, and say, I look damn good. I am proud of my choice of outfit. You look like you're advertising Cartoon Network. We open with Chuck Norris walking on a pier, or should I say strutting on the pier, since he appears to have attracted every single person he's walking past. And it's not even because he's a celebrity. They don't actually recognize him. He's just really confident and everyone is amazed by him. It's like friggin' Saturday Night Fever. Or at least Peter Parker doing Saturday Night Fever in Spider-Man 3. Whoa, he sure looks tough. I wonder where he came from. If Chuck Norris facts are to be believed, he basically just spawned from the ether fully grown with a desire to kick things that could not be kicked. He enters a bar and goes up to the counter. What'll it be, pal? Nice cold beer? No thanks. I'll take a crappy warm beer. I'm really here to talk about something hot. Me! Boom, baby! And where I might dispose of it, if I happen to lay my hands on it. The Chuck Norris method of police work. Go into a random bar and say you want to get rid of stolen goods. Way I hear it, the men who drink here aren't very smart, but they're always interested in turning a dishonest profit. You know, given that this bar seems to be populated strictly by men, I'd find it hilarious if it turned out Chuck accidentally walked into the wrong place and this is really a gay bar. So, you know so much. What is this merchandise we're discussing here? We're talking about the new Banana 7000 computer prototype. Not interested. Come back when you have the prototype for the new Macro Hard computer. Now I know you're full of it! That hasn't even been stolen yet! Yeah, and a sale's been pre-arranged with a private buyer. Any other details you want to confess to the anonymous stranger? Drug deals you're conducting on the side? How many people you've killed? Thanks, that's really what I came in here to learn. Now why don't you tell me who the buyer is, and who plans to sell it? Must have been a really slow day at the Karate Kommandos headquarters if they're working a case about a prototype for a home computer. I mean, isn't this usually the jurisdiction of the Tandy Computer Whiz Kids? Or Captain Electron? You tricked us! Tricked you into what? There is absolutely nothing here that can be used in court. In fact, you can all just clam up right now and he's got nothing. But no, instead let's start a bar fight, with this guy breaking a bottle while his pinky finger is extended. Dude, unless that bottle was actually a very cleverly disguised teacup, I don't think that's the proper way to hold that. Naturally, Chuck Norris beats the crap out of everyone, forcing a lot of them to retreat. They realize that indeed Chuck Norris is their attacker, and they quickly find some wooden boards to defend themselves. We've got weapons now, and he doesn't! You poor deluded fools! His fists are his weapons! Also his feet. And he promptly knocks them all into the water. Chuck once again asks for information, but the guy just screams that they only hear rumors and don't know anything. Right before Too Much knocks him into the water by tripping him over a crate. Anyway, it's time for exposition. They know someone is plotting to steal the prototype Banana 7000, although me personally, I'm holding out for the iBanana. And they say that the other members of the Karate Kommandos are back at the hotel guarding it. Why the hell is this thing not back at Banana headquarters being developed? Do you think it's possible our old nemesis, the Cult of the Claw, are after the computer? Seems pretty likely, doesn't it? They'd love to get their hands on something as valuable as this. It may take a whole 6 months before it becomes obsolete technology. And it never pays to get too confident where they're concerned. Boy, I'll say, those guys are smart and mean. I would remind you that their leader looks like this, and they're plotting to steal a computer with the processor power to, at best, play number munchers. Or, you know, Oregon Trail. Chuck notices a box full of money and asks where it came from. Too Much says that it's part of his cover for when the guys from the bar fled. He told the guy running a souvenir stand that he'd watch the booth in his absence and turned a tidy profit while he ran it. And since you were selling the man's merchandise, of course you'll do the ethical thing and turn all the money made over to him. Too Much sighs in frustration at this. To be fair, Chuck, this guy was dumb enough to let a child completely unknown to him run his booth and have access to his money. Also, dear lord, this artwork. Too Much's face is really wide, yet seems to be trying to contort itself into a Picasso painting. It can't accomplish it, but it's trying. And then there's Chuck in the corner there, with big eyes and gritting teeth under his ginormous mustache. I feel bad critiquing this, actually, since like the first issue, this was drawn by recluse and co-creator of Spider-Man, Steve Ditko. This is clearly a job that he was doing only for the paycheck. We cut over to some more members of the Karate Kommandos, who are of course some martial arts stereotypes. the samurai Kimo, who is all about solitude and serenity and calm and honor and Power Rangers or something. And the sumo wrestler Tabe, who likes to eat a lot because he's not skinny. And they're out walking the team's dog named Wolf. Remember, Kimo, after Wolf is finished, we must clean after him. Dog poop. Tabe says that a bunch of his friends from the sumo circuit are in town, and he'll be getting together with them. We shall dine together, and then I will wrestle them. All at once, of course. And then perhaps we shall dine again. It's a very repetitive profession, I guess. He then offers Kimo to join them. My thanks, but the solitude of nature's beauty would suit me better. I shall walk the beach, and practice my swordplay, and meditate, and then I shall compose a poem. Kimo missed out on his true calling, being a whiny 15-year-old who claims that nobody understands his deep thoughts.
Oh, we'll be right back. I'm just hunting some wild Pokemon during this commercial break.
Pika pika!
I got you this time! Ha-ha! Ha! Got you this time! This is what happens when you mess with the greatest master of Pokemon! Oh, we're back now. We all live in a Pokemon world. Ah, and perhaps later you will honor me by letting me hear your poem. Perhaps, if the poem is not unworthy. Chuck Norris, Karate Kommandos! This week's episode, The Poetry Slam. Nearby, a woman in yellow is horrified to see the Karate Kommandos and wonders what she's going to do. But then we cut over to twins Pepper and Reid, who naturally dress in the same denim jackets and orange shirts as each other. Oh, gee whiz, Pepper. Nobody in the history of ever actually said gee whiz. The least you can do is talk to me. I can talk to you anytime, Reid, but the Banana 7000 is really interesting hardware. Oh dear lord, it is the Tandy Computer Whiz Kids. So this is what happened after they got deprogrammed. Well, at least Alec did, since he proclaims that he doesn't give a crap about the computer other than keeping it out of the hands of the Cult of the Claw. Pepper, or Shanna if you see it that way, says that she wants to make the most of this chance to test the thing out. And really, when else is she going to get this chance to play Museum Madness? Does anyone else remember that game? You had a robot, you went around fixing the museum exhibits after they went nuts. I am such a nerd. Anyway, Reid is pissy because she's not paying attention to him, so he storms off. Right into the woman in yellow, who says that her name is Margie. Margie spills the beans immediately since she knows he's a member of the Karate Kommandos, that her mother is very ill, and that the Cult of the Claw offered her a lot of money to find some way to steal the computer. They don't want to hurt anybody, and that computer is a machine. It's just a machine, and I am a man! Wait. So, he just randomly managed to bump into the one person who was helping the villains?
I think a plot point just spilled all over us there.
With this knowledge, Reid says he'll be right back, since he has to go check and make sure the computer is okay. Back in the room, Pepper hears scratching at the door, only to find a cat waiting there. It's a cat! But how did you get onto this floor of the motel? Are you lost? But then, ninjas! No, he came with us! Ninja Cat! The Cult of the Claw! It's a trap!
It's a trap!
Yeah, you were all thinking it. Also, that was the most cunning plan the Cult of the Claw could come up with. Let a cat scratch at the door. These are our villains in this series. Pepper gets off a few moves, but the ninjas then pull a gun. Stop! Think of what one bullet could do to this computer. You're not even threatening her with the gun? And that's the thing you're trying to steal, morons! You are the worst ninjas ever! In fact, you are so bad at this that I need to be reminded of something considerably more absurd and yet still more like a ninja than you guys. Enjoy some ninja-style dancing!
She's up all night to the sun. I'm up all night to get some. She's up all night for good fun. I'm up all night to get lucky.
Pepper surrenders because she can't let that happen, even though she's clearly close enough to kick the gun out of his hand. And for crying out loud, it's a prototype! It's not like it's all the design plans, schematics, and information. Banana can build a new one! But whatever, they take her too, for some reason, and the other members of the Karate Kommandos reunite, and they quickly deduce that she's been kidnapped. And while it's not a guy who has been kidnapped, this situation does allow me to use this clip.
But he was abducted by ninjas! Ninjas! Call the cops!
Reid explains what happened and how he had walked out after the argument. This is what can barely be considered a character moment, where the way he panics in his explanation, it suggests that he's in cahoots with the ninjas. But no one actually throws out any accusations or remarks, and he immediately explains everything, so what the hell was even the point? I guess I've been a real jerk, huh? No, you've been a brother. Also, you're fired for deserting your post. Chuck asks if he knows where to find Margie, but I'd like to find the evil wizard who has no doubt cast a spell on Reid's body to make its proportions twist around. His head and torso appear to be shrinking based on how big Chuck's hand is there, but his own hand is positively huge. He could wrap that around his own head. Even Too Much is wincing at the sight of that thing. Anyway, Reid suspects that Margie may have just been a decoy, but Chuck thinks otherwise. And from some of the clues Too Much and I picked up today while we were scouting around, I have a pretty good idea of what neighborhood to look for her in. AKA, he read the script. Everybody change into your battle suits. It's morphin' time! Norris Ninja Ranger! And seriously, these are battle suits? Jeez, I guess all your funding went into the super cruiser. Reid doesn't even have any armor. He's still in his regular clothes. Anyway, they have Wolf track Pepper's scent, and we see Pepper herself being held by the ninjas. Now, show us how to operate the computer. It told us to hit any key to continue. Where is the any key? Pepper refuses to cooperate, and Maggie protests to the ninjas that nobody was supposed to be hurt. The ninjas don't give a crap, of course, so Maggie steps in.
Wait, please don't hurt her. Let me talk to her for a minute. Woman to woman. Pepper, do you ever feel, not so fresh?
Wolf picks up on her scent and leads them to the right house.
How are we gonna get inside?
Politely. And so Kimo just walks up and knocks on the door.
Hi there. We represent the Broadway Better Business Players for a Brighter Tomorrow. We're trying to start a petition to get second-rate shows taken off the marquee.
Good afternoon. May I come in? Insolent fool! Why did you answer the door? Did you guys order pizza or something? So yeah, they beat up some more ninjas as they all storm out at them, and Kimo awkwardly swings his sword around with really stiff arms. I am the greatest samurai ever! It seems to work though, since it cuts off their straps, which means absolutely nothing since the straps appear to be mostly decorative. Smooth. Oh, and Chuck Norris's fighting is equally awkward, mostly just tackling people or using his kung fu action grip to swing his arms around. I'm Chuck Norris! If you ever wanted any more evidence that Steve Ditko did not give a single crap about drawing this comic, here you have it. The dude is responsible for infusing a hell of a lot of energy and life to his fight scenes, even changing up fighting styles depending on the hero responsible, but here it looks like in some panels that Chuck is just doing stretches for aerobics. Oh yeah, and the 12-year-old is leading around the dog, who goes chasing after the ninja cat. One of the ninjas thinks that the only way they can salvage this situation is by threatening Pepper and goes to her, instructing her to come with him. Hey guys, I think I finally figured out this gun thing! If you threaten people with it, it works a whole lot better! Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be accurate, since Pepper refuses to obey. And then Maggie steps out from behind and smashes a vase over his head. With the ninjas defeated, the group finally reunites. Margie spots Reid, with his face suddenly transforming into this, and begins complimenting him.
I knew you'd come and save us. You're so honest and noble and brave.
You only met him 2 hours ago, and all he did was ask you about the plot to take the computer. That's it. It seems there's a cash reward for anyone who could find and stop the ones after the computer, and that money can now be used to help Margie's mother. For that, Margie starts making out with Reid. This annoys Pepper for some reason. As if she was jealous. Ew. And so our comic ends with this exchange. Hey Chuck, I might just have a good idea. Let's take back the computer and let the Cult of the Claw keep my sister. It would serve them right. They were gonna torture her. This comic sucks. The artwork is lazy and slipshod all over the place, owing to Steve Ditko clearly not giving a damn. The plot itself is stupid and ridiculous, and not even in a fun kind of way like US 1. It's just dumb, and important plot stuff just conveniently falls into the laps of the heroes. So yes, my initial thesis stands. Stick with Mr. T. But Mr. T's inaugural episode featured him grabbing a crocodile and swinging it over his head.
Chuck Norris.
Remember, everyone makes mistakes in their life. You do, I do, and your parents do. But being able to love them in spite of those mistakes is what makes you a very special person.